Moving on to the other big story at this hour, Kashmiri Pandits who continue to protest in the valley held a meeting with the LG once again. They say their demands remain unmet and they will continue to protest till their demands are heard. The protesters have also rejected offers like promotions and accommodations by the LG. So my colleague Ishan Wani is joining me live. Before that, let's listen in to some of the protesters and what they have to say on this.
हमने एक ही अपनी मेन डिमांड रखी थी जो था रिलोकेशन. वी शुड बी रेस्क्यूड फ्रॉम दिस प्लेस टू सेफर साइड आउटसाइड कश्मीर. हमें प्रमोशन नहीं चाहिए, हमारे को ट्रांसफर नहीं चाहिए, हमारे को अकोमोडेशन नहीं चाहिए. हमारा एक ही मुद्दा है सबका और वो है रिलोकेशन. उन्होंने बोला हम इसके ऊपर गौर करेंगे. हो सकता है कि हमारी एक दो डेलीगेशंस और उनके साथ हो, डायलॉग्स हो.
Well, obviously, the protests have only intensified after the killing of Amreen Bhat. Already there were protests picking up momentum. Ishan joining us live. Ishan, in terms of the ground situation, give us the major concerns at this point. And do we know about the outcome of the meeting that took place between Kashmiri Pandits, their delegation, and the LG of Jammu and Kashmir?
Well, let's just take it step by step. There was a meeting and there were Kashmiri Pandits agitated after Rahul Bhatt's killing, started protesting. They came on roads and were very defiant. The government tried to pacify them, but they did not listen. Then finally, after certain days, 10 plus days, the governor came to meet them when they started going to their colonies and vacated those roads which they had blocked. And there was a communication between both the sides because they wanted governor to come there and meet them. Then it was the beginning of the talks, and then after they presented their point of view to the governor. He called them to the Lieutenant Governor's office today and had actually told them to, make a memorandum and come with a delegation to meet them. Today that meeting happened, that meeting took place, but it doesn't seem to be, a path break because the Kashmiri Pandits are saying they're very defiant about their first and important, promise that they want from the government, which is their relocation from Kashmir Valley to Jammu or safer places. Now, why isn't that possible? One, because they came to Kashmir Valley under PM's job package to resettle here. But now, since there's a threat, they want, to go out of Kashmir Valley and settle in Jammu, and their job should be transferred to Jammu. And this is something which the government may not accept. Within there might be more rounds of talks, and that is something which one has to now eye for.
Yes, absolutely. So this is, again, going to drag on. Like you said, the government is planning to buy time over this, obviously to ensure the transfer of so many of these central government employees from Kashmir Valley to Jammu will be a huge project, something that the government cannot immediately sign up for. But stay on with us, Ishan. There's this other big story that we are tracking, a rather tragic one, of 7 army soldiers dead today and 19 others injured after the vehicle that they were traveling in skidded off the road and fell in Ladakh's Shyok River. A party of 26 soldiers was moving from the transit camp in Partapur to a forward location in subsector Hanif when the accident occurred. All 19 injured personnel are undergoing treatment at a hospital in Chandi Mandir in Haryana's Panchkula district. This incident, of course, took place in Ladakh. Let me go across to Ishan to get any further inputs that we have on this. Ishan, very tragic accident, of course, but tell us, what does the army tell us about, the fact that so many of our brave soldiers were lost in this manner?
Well, it's a very tragic incident where this driver actually lost control of this vehicle which was hired locally because we know China-India confrontation has ensured that there's an additional deployment of forces, and that is why, certain vehicles are generally hired from local stands or bus, places to accommodate soldier movement. And the driver of that bus, lost control over a narrow road, and then there's a deep, way down this mountain slope where this vehicle went. And then rescue teams were deported, including Leh police and men from the Indian Army, who tried to make sure that they're able to take them out. But 7 of them lost their lives, and many of them were actually taken out in a very grievous condition. Now, some of them have been flown because there's a lot of, air presence also of the Air Force, and that is why they were quick immediately shifted to Panchkula, where they are now being operated. One has to see that what will happen in the next coming days. Police has registered an FIR under several sections. Army is also investigating the entire issue. But, it's a very tragic incident in which 7 of our soldiers have lost their lives. We already know there has been a build-up in Ladakh, and these soldiers were being taken to the forward position. One has to see that what comes out in the next 24 hours, because now the army will definitely call for an inquiry into this entire matter and to how really did it take place. But 7 of them losing their lives is something which the army cannot afford in these locations, given the fact that, soldiers take a lot of time to, acclimatize to the weather there. And then also it's a difficult terrain to work and to climb. There are high mountain passes and the level of oxygen is down. So yes, a tragic incident has taken place. One has to see what comes out of this inquiry. And also those 19 who are injured and are being treated is something which everyone is praying that they should recover as soon as possible.
And pray they recover as soon as possible. Thanks, Ishan, for giving us updates on both the big stories. Welcome back, and here's our big focus story today. We are going to talk about bronze medalist gymnast Aruna Reddy, who was accused a sports authority coach of videographing her without her consent during a physical fitness test. The incident, she alleges, happened at Delhi's IGI Stadium in March this year. According to Aruna, the entire clinical assessment conducted on her injured knee was filmed by coach Rohit Jaiswal on his personal mobile phone without obtaining her consent. So Aruna has now warned of legal action against the coach. Meanwhile, Sports Authority has formed a 3-member inquiry committee to look into the allegations. In fact, here on the program, we have Aruna Reddy join us live. Aruna is an international gymnast. Thank you so much, Aruna, for joining us here. And also with Aruna is Manoj Rana, who is her coach. Thank you both for joining us here on The Big Focus. Very good evening. And I want to begin by asking you, Arunaji, tell us what happened. How and when did you realize that this videography was happening in private capacity? It was not on official purpose. Tell us all about it, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for, calling me live and to take this issue out publicly. So thank you for that. And so what exactly happened was on March 24th, there was a physical test conducted in IG premises. So there was a committee deputed by Gymnastic Federation of India. So the committee consisted of 6 to 7 members, which included 3 of coaches, in which Rohit Jaiswal sir was present there. And with them, there was 2 physios, 1 female male, and 1 doctor, along with my personal coach. So this was the committee there. So after the physical, they were called me for the physical test, but before going to the physical fitness test, they have asked me to get a clinical assessment done. So I was there for the clinical assessment, and soon after the assessment, there was a bit, the pain got aggravated because I've been already through 2 ACL surgeries before. So the same in knee, they were doing assessment. So after this assessment and everything was done, I've been putting mails to Federation asking for the video just for my medical records and all, because I wanted to be safer side because I've been through ACL surgeries before. So I've been asking for the video and the report, but they didn't submit any report or video on the same mail, and they didn't even responded to that. So suddenly, after 2 months, on May 24th, I got a mail to my shock from President of GFI, Gymnastic Federation of India, stating that they didn't authorize any of the video.
Yes, this is interesting. Let me paraphrase it to our viewers, what you're saying exactly here. You are saying that on one of those days where you were giving a physical test, you were filmed by somebody who came in as, you thought, an authorized person, filming that entire process. Later, for your own medical records, when you required that video, you were told, to your shock and surprise, by the Gymnastic Federation that there was no such videography authorized. Is that what alarmed you? Is that when you realized that your privacy has been breached?
Yes, ma'am, exactly. Because I thought it was a federation issue, because I got a mail officially and I went there. I got a mail asking me to attend the physical test. So it was all official there. And even the committee was deputed. So everything was official. So I thought even the videography they've asked, I mean, even that was an official thing. So I didn't suspect that time. But after, to my shock, as I told you, I got mail from presidents saying that we didn't ask them to take a video. So we don't possess any of the video, whatever you're asking about. So that have actually alarmed me about, my privacy thing. They shouldn't do that without my consent.
So in a way, your, some details about your physical fitness, about your medical condition has been accessed without your consent. And that is what you're upset about. Manoj Rana, coaches, as I imagine, and you're a coach yourself, are the most trusted aides for athletes, aren't they? I mean, they're the last people anybody would suspect of wrongdoing. Aruna did not suspect that somebody who is an SFI coach, if I'm not mistaken, would do something like this, in a way take advantage of the situation.
Ma'am, can we please repeat in Hindi? So
आप ये
that it's
बताएंगे
very
हमें कि जो कोचेस जो होते हैं वो बहुत भरोसे के होते हैं ना एथलीट्स के साथ, जो लगातार लगे रहते हैं उनके डेवलपमेंट के लिए, उनके प्रोग्रेस के लिए. कोई भी शक नहीं करेगा कि एक स्पोर्ट्स फेडरेशन के कोच जो है वो आके इस तरह के एक सिचुएशन का फ़ायदा उठाएंगे, वीडियोग्राफी करेंगे और फिर वो वीडियो अरुणा जी को सबमिट नहीं किया उन्होंने, जहां तक मुझे पता है. क्यों आपको लगता है इस तरह की घटनाएं होती है?
देखिए, ये कुछ लोग अपने पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट के लिए भी करते हैं, कुछ हमारे स्पोर्ट्स ग्रजेस होते हैं जो निकालने के लिए करते हैं, कुछ लोग इंटेंशनली स्पोर्ट्समैन को हार्म करने के लिए करते हैं. तो सबके अपने अलग अलग मोटो होते हैं. बट एज लाइक मी, हमें ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. अगर कोई जिम्नास्ट किसी डॉक्टर के पास फिजिकली फिटनेस के लिए गया है, अगर हमारी फेडरेशन ने बोला है रिकॉर्डिंग होनी चाहिए तो अंडरस्टैंड होना चाहिए, लेकिन विदाउट एनी फर्दर ऑर्डर ऐसे रिकॉर्डिंग करना, वो भी पर्सनल कैमरे से, मैं समझता हूँ ये ठीक नहीं है. ये एक फीमेल जिम्नास्ट छोड़ो, आप फीमेल एथलीट की प्राइवेसी को लेके इश्यूज हैं इसमें. और वो वीडियो कोई ऐसा भी नहीं कि हम किसी और पर्पस के लिए मांग रहे हैं, वो उसके हेल्थ इशू के लिए मांग रहे हैं, ताकि उस वीडियो को देख के हम उसकी मेडिकल हिस्ट्री कलेक्ट कर सके और आगे के लिए हमें इजी हो जाए, क्योंकि उसके साथ ऑलरेडी 2 ACL सर्जरी हो चुकी हैं और वो उस लेवल की जिम्नास्ट है कि मुझे उसके घुटने को केयर करके उसको कॉमनवेल्थ तक पहुंचाना है.
तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि ये वीडियो जो उन्होंने लिया, आपके मुताबिक वो मेडिकल रिकॉर्ड्स में होना चाहिए ताकि एथलीट का काम आ सके, कोई भी उनको ट्रेन कर रहा हो, कोई फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट हो जिनको जरूरत पड़े, तो वो फायदा भी अभी आपको नहीं मिल रहा है. इज द पर्सन डिनाइंग यू? अरुणा जी, आपने उनको कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश की जिन्होंने ये वीडियोग्राफी किया, वो क्या कहते हैं?
यस मैम, वैसे कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश की तो फोन की कोई रिस्पांस नहीं है. मतलब मेरे कोच ने पर्सनली कॉल किया तो फोन की कोई रिस्पांस नहीं है. And upon that, I was there in Delhi recently on May 11th. There was a poor probable trial going on. So I personally asked him regarding my video. Then he said that, Aruna, this is all about official, so I can't do anything in it. I've asked him, I mean, he came to, he was just passing through and he asked me, how are you, Aruna? How are you doing? I said, sir, everything is fine, but you would have provided me with that video. That would have actually helped me, with my medical records and all. And you didn't do that. So he said, it's all about official thing, Aruna. Then I asked him, so what is the official you mean? Because I was the part of the physical test and everything was about me. So you're supposed to provide me with that video. And then he just went out.
So what does SFI have to say, Aruna? What does SFI have to say? If he's a certified coach under the Sports Federation, the organization also has a responsibility to either pull up that coach or at least question him on this misconduct. Have they responded?
I'm just waiting for their response, ma'am, because I've been requested to the DG as well. So I came to know that SAI is taking the initiative in this case and they've put up a committee for the investigation. So most probably next week, everything will be in front of everyone. So we are waiting for that order.
It's a Sports Authority of India coach you are referring to. Am I correct?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Now, across sports, Aruna ji, across sports, this can be a menace, isn't it? It's not just about you or it's not just about gymnastics.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is an issue we are taking up because we want these kind of menace to be addressed. Coaches have a lot of access to athletes and they shouldn't in any way be misusing this access.
Yes.
What is your take on that? How can we prevent such things?
Ma'am, nowadays we are, promoting female gymnasts or girls to, play sports, and we are encouraging them to come forward to take initiative in sports as well, because we have a lot of talent in India and such so. But whenever such situations happens, it's about the safety of women, female or, girls. So if this keeps happening, then how can a girl, come, or parents can allow a girl to take sports as their profession? So from my side, this actually shouldn't happen, because this is about the safety of the women or girl.
एब्सोल्युटली मनोज राणा जी, आप बताएंगे कि ये मुद्दा मिसयूज का है। कोई भी कोच हो, उनको जिस तरह का एक्सेस मिलता है किसी भी एथलीट के साथ वो काम करते हैं, तो उनका एक दायित्व बनता है कि किसी भी तरह की प्रिवेसी ब्रीच ना हो। देयर आर सर्टेन अनस्पोकन रूल्स, सारे रूल्स लिखे नहीं जाते, कुछ ऐसे भी होते हैं जो एक म्यूचुअल ट्रस्ट होता है। तो इस तरह की घटना जो है, इट लीड्स टू अ ब्रेक डाउन ऑफ ट्रस्ट, इजंट इट? एक विश्वासघात की भी घटना है ये। सो आपको लगता है कि इस तरह की घटना से काफी सारे एथलीट्स जो है, विमेन एथलीट्स, उनका विश्वास नहीं रहेगा मेल कोचेस के ऊपर?
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं मैडम आप। ये एक बाउंड होता है, और ये बाउंड ही एक स्पोर्ट्समैन को आगे बढ़ाता है। जो बाउंड, जो विश्वास उसका उसके कोच के ऊपर होता है। तो मेरा यही मानना है कि इस बाउंड को हमें ब्रेक नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि फीमेल एथलीट जो हमारे पास ट्रेनिंग करने आते हैं, स्पेशली मैं जिम्नास्टिक्स का बताता हूँ, हमारे पास बच्चे 5 साल 6 साल की एज में आते हैं, तो वो हमारे बच्चियों जैसे हो जाते हैं, बेटियां हैं हमारी। तो हमें उनको सेव करके चलना है, बिकॉज दे आर थिंकिंग वी आर द फादर। हम लोग उनके माँ बाप हैं। जैसे कहते हैं कि गुरु माँ बाप से पहले आता है, तो इस तरह का नहीं होना चाहिए। हमें अपने फीमेल एथलीट्स क्या, मेल एथलीट्स क्या, सबकी सिक्योरिटी सेफ्टी को हाथ में लेके चलना चाहिए। हमें एथलीट को एक सेफ जोन देना चाहिए, ताकि वो खुल के वहां पे ट्रेनिंग कर सके और अपने कंट्री के लिए ग्लोरी ला सके जी। तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। मैं दोबारा इसकी निंदा करता हूं।
में वो माहौल रहना चाहिए। दैट इज समथिंग वी ऑल एक्सपेक्ट, एटलीस्ट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर एरिया वेयर स्पोर्ट्समैन, they have a spirit of sportsmen. Usually such incidents do not happen, but this is an unfortunate case that we are reporting. Aruna Reddy ji, bataiye, what is the action you demand now, whether it is from the Gymnastic Federation or from Sports Authority of India? What do you demand so that women after you can be safe, when they practice or when they give their physical tests?
Everything should be fair and everything should be transparent for the first thing, because it's about the safety of women. So whenever some test happens, or it's about the training or photos, whatever it is, but everything should be done with the consent of particular person whose video is or photo has been taken.
Yes.
So now I just demand justice, because this is not just my case, but there's so many kids, girls coming up with the sports. There's generation coming up, and so many women. I know there may be so many people who are suffering with such cases now, but they are not able to come out because, raise voice, because it's a bit hard to come out and, talk about our privacy and things.
You are a World Cup winner, Aruna Reddy, and you have brought laurels to the country. You're the first Indian athlete to win a medal at the Gymnast World Cup. For someone like you who have won us honors, we definitely owe you a better environment, whether it is for your practice or whether it is for your physical tests. And I hope the sports authorities are listening to this conversation and they ensure to give a safe environment for women athletes in particular, and this trust between the coaches and the athletes are restored. Buddha, Aruna Reddy and Manoj Rana, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's take a quick break here. Coming up next, more on how you can control who sees your Facebook posts. That is what we are going to talk about in just a bit. Stay tuned.